I'm still formulating a plot for what to do with this chain tensioner. So I'm going to move to the back. I'm going to put the rear axle in, do the mount for the caliper. Also going to finish the chassis by putting the curve pieces in the sides here. I think I'll start with the curves. Alright, so that's kind of close. So I've got tighter bend there and less bend there. Take him out a little. That's getting closer. So doing that, I can see if I've got the same bend, and I'm just going to cut it in half, and there, they should be fairly close. I want to roughly find where the centre is so I can cut it into two. So I'll just put in there. Mark where the two edges are fitting, and I just put a mark there and a mark onto the steel. If I flip him over and put that mark in the same spot, that gives me two marks. As long as I cut between them, they should be fairly similar in size. Pretty close. Okay, so I've got my two pieces. One of them needed a little bit of a tweak to get them to be identical to the other one, but now they're the same. I'm just going to put him here, mark where the angles are. Like that. I'll cut him and then put him in.
Here we go.
Now that's what the chassis has been missing. Yep, that's definitely what the chassis was missing. Side loops are now done, so what I'm going to do, move the chassis back a bit so I can put the full axle assembly in there. That way then I can set up the chain for this side, I can set up the brake caliper for that side, and then that will let me know how much space I've got left for putting in the fuel pump and where the lines are going to have to run for fuel. not a lot of clearance. I'm going to throw the fuel tank in there because it's not been in here with the axle. See how that goes. Ended up with about 20mm of clearance there. We've got more clearance than we have against the chassis rail, so that's pretty good. So now, caliper mount. The brake caliper. Now, they'll always have a bleeder valve so you can get the air bubbles out. The thing about air bubbles is they float. So you always got to mount your caliper so that is at the top, otherwise you'll practically never get the brakes to work properly. So it's going to have to go on the back side of the rotor here because it's only place it's got clearance, which means I'm going to have to build an extra bar right through the bottom and then back to the chassis, so then I can put an upright between these two bars because it's the only place I've got that I can actually mount this. That should work though. Just going to use this. I'm going to cut a piece off with a 45 and then flip it over, stick it back together so it makes a right angle corner, and then that will pretty much be perfect to go in there. So let's do that. Fold them back together like that. Alright, so now we've got that bar there, that's level with this one, so this will go in here, and we've just got to put a bar that goes from here down to the bottom that picks up these two holes. So it's probably going to be a piece of 50mm flat bar that'll go all the way up and just be notched around there to go into that. So I've got a piece of 50x6 flat. Now I'd prefer to have a bit of 3mm and then fold it to give it the strength, so that way it'll be lighter, but my little folder won't do 3mm, so this is what I'm stuck with at the moment. So I'm going to cut him down. I've marked out where the caliper sits, so I'll drill the holes and then we can fit this in. When using a center punch and a really big hammer, stare at that spot right there, and that's what you'll hit. If you stare at your thumb, that's what you're going to hit. It's just the magic of hammers, really. What I've just done there is I'm using a drill bit that's at least 2mm bigger, and it just puts a nice bevel on the edges. It's a really simple way to finish off a hole. So when you see how much I actually cut out of it to fit, being that it's 6mm for that thickness there means it's probably a good thing. Makes it nice and flush. Alright, let's see if it fits. I should probably just tack that into place. But I think I want to drill a couple of big holes in the top here just to lighten it up a bit. That's a heavy piece of steel. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I will get some spring washers for these for final assembly. But for now, well, that weighs a bit less now. That seems to work all right. Alright, so I've got a packer in there just to hold the pads parallel. So I've got that all packed into place exactly where I want it. So that all looks pretty good. I'll disassemble this and weld that piece in. I did actually think this may have been a problem. So, it can come apart, just needs to be in a few more pieces. I thought that may have been an issue, and well, I'm running out of space, so things have to go in interesting ways. I mean, I could cut that through there and there and then back up and then just have this shaped piece. It'll give me a little bit more room. I might be able to get it out, but there's no real reason for that. The trickiest part is there's going to be a body panel over the outside here when it's done. So I'll have an access hole here, so I should be able to get that fitted together. Now, it come apart, so might as well weld it in now. Beautiful. To-do list. Item 23. Cooling fan. Now, normally this engine is in a motorbike. It's got lots of airflow. It can radiate the heat off. But the cubman, it's basically going to be fully enclosed with a little slit across the front for the grill, and it's open at the back where your feet are. So can't really radiate the heat. The heat will build up inside the engine bay, and if you're not going flat out, so then it's sitting there idling, or someone small is driving it around slowly in first gear, the engine has the possibility of cooking. So I was looking at computer fans mounted at the front there, blowing directly on the head. Would probably work. But then I thought, well, might as well get a proper fan. So I started looking at thermo fans on eBay, where I've bought lots of components so far. Now, these eBay thermo fans, not super cheap, not super expensive either though. But yeah, I was nearly going to buy one, but then I found this one. Bought it from Davies, Craig. It cost me $68, Australian made, 2-year warranty, can't go wrong. Now for the unboxing. Nice little unit, it's the 9-inch. There was an 8-inch, which is the same size motor, it's just the blades are all half an inch shorter. So I went with this one instead. It's got 4 of these little tags to mount it with, and there's 8 different positions they can be fitted to, so lots of possibilities. Also comes with instructions on how to wire it correctly with a relay and everything. So yeah, what I'm thinking is that'll mount about there somewhere. I'll screw it in with some metal screws. It's angled like that so that my gas strut will still fit in the back here. So I'll mount this up, and then we can tip that forward, put the mounting screws in, see how it fits. So this will just get wired into probably the ignition system. It'll just come down, run along the chassis. So I'll probably glue these brackets together because it's not mounted in the way that they were designed for. Might be able to just weld some little tags on the back of these ones to help, but that should do for now. Alright, where's that list gone? The list is definitely getting shorter. I'm going to do one episode that is the entire fuel system, which will be everything from the fuel tank mounts, running the fuel lines, mounting the fuel pump, and also the funny little thing that I got to do at the front to make it all work. So this should be interesting. Alright, that's it for today's video. I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. Challenge is challenging, and well, as always, customize everything.